What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today, I'm going to take a look at Zach Wilson as the New York Jets are going forward with Zach as their quarterback and try to talk to you guys about what the Jets can do to have success on offense. A little bit easier said than done, but there are ways to give yourself better chances to be successful on offense with Zach Wilson at quarterback. And yes, I'm rocking the Wilson shirt in support. We are desperate times, call for desperate measures. We're doing everything we possibly can be or can do to try to get this thing going in the right direction. Now, am I as high on Zach Wilson now as what I was as a rookie or going into last year? No, that's just not the case. I think he's put, unfortunately, a lot of bad on tape. But, keyword being but, the Jets are very adamant about him making strides from where he was at the end of last year to now. And there is definitely an adjustment that's been made in a positive. It's been a positive step forward from where he was mentally broken to where he is now. Is he 100% fixed? No. Do I think he's ready to be a starting quarterback? I also don't know, but the Jets don't really have a choice right now, and that's the direction that they are going. They are starting Zach Wilson at quarterback for at least the foreseeable future. Robert Saleh's made that, abundantly clear. If they bring in a veteran quarterback, which I would anticipate them to do, doesn't necessarily have to be this week, it would be to be the backup at least for now. Like, I know he's like, yeah, Zach's going to start the rest of the season, but if Zach goes off the rails, this team is way too good to just completely punt on the season. So I think bringing in a veteran who could play if need be is wise. Again, not necessarily saying that, you plug him in immediately, right? You sign him, Colt McCoy today, or you trade for, whoever today, and you plug him right in and you're good to go. But, it might be wise to bring someone in and get them, ramped up a little bit. I don't know how to put that lightly. Okay, so let's start, I guess, with Zach Wilson against the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. He was put in a really tough spot, won 14-21, a 66.7% completion percentage. Pretty good for Zach Wilson. That's, completing 2/3 of his passes. 140 yards, not a ton, but he didn't throw the ball a lot, so wasn't really expecting that much of a higher number. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The interception throw was really bad. Like, there's no sugarcoating it. There were, the linebackers were dropping. It was bad. It was a bad read. It was a bad miss. There's no sugarcoating. However, Nathaniel Hackett was down on the sideline, which Mike LaFleur was up in the booth for that. I'm not necessarily putting that on Mike LaFleur. That's where he called the game from, and that's where the Jets thought it would be, the best. But Hackett was down there on the side, coached him up, and after coaching him up in the second half, he was 9 of 13, 69.2 completion percentage, 99 yards, and a touchdown. He was significantly better after getting that coach up. And my hope is that with a full week of practice, or not, it's a short week, but he's going to, for the entirety of practice this week, he's going to be running with the ones and getting in those reps and his practicing and anticipating starting, which is a different spot than, being a backup and preparing to be a backup to now preparing as being the starter. The Jets need a redemption arc from Zach Wilson here. That would be the best case scenario, is some sort of redemption for both Zach Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett. Hackett is a well-liked offensive coordinator, but he was kind of a punching bag last year as a head coach, like Zach Wilson was a punching bag at quarterback for the New York Jets. And if Hackett ever wants to get another push as a head coach, he's going to have to get Zach Wilson looking like a competent quarterback. If he does that, he will get another opportunity. We know what he's done with Aaron Rodgers. And also, on top of that, we know what he did with Blake Bortles. Why is that relevant to the conversation? Here we go. Big reason why in 2017, when Nathaniel Hackett was with the Jacksonville Jaguars, they went to the AFC Championship game on the back of Blake Bortles running the offense as quarterback. They did it by having the #1 rushing attack on offense. They ran the ball on average 33 times per game, which was #1 in the NFL in 2017. They had a stellar defense, and Blake Bortles managed the game. He wasn't phenomenal that year. Blake finished with 21 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, just under 3,700 yards. a 60.2 completion percentage, and his passer rating was an 84.7. He was very game manager, Blake Bortles. Not turnover Blake Bortles. He was okay. He was okay. If Nathaniel Hackett is able to get Zach Wilson to replicate those numbers over the remaining 16 games, the Jets will be competitive just because of how good that defense is alone, and how, they have playmakers on offense with both the running backs, the tight ends, the wide receivers, the whole nine. But the transition really, to me, goes to now converting yourself into a running team. In my opinion, the two best games that Zach Wilson played last year were the games against the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. Why? Because he did what was asked of him and was executing the offense to almost perfection. Did he put up monster numbers in either of those games? No. Again, no, he did not. But he didn't make that back-breaking mistake, and he ran the offense and executed the offense how it was supposed to be run. Against Miami, he went 14 of 21, which he had 21 passing attempts, which is the same completion percentage that he had against the Buffalo Bills on Monday night. 210 yards passing, though. The Breece Hall bit long run on the reception really helped that one. 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a 99.3 rating. The Jets in that game ran the ball 33 times. Remember that number. Keep track of that number. 33 times. Against Buffalo, 18 of 25, 154 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. The Jets ran the ball 34 times. So we're looking at times where the Jets are running the ball 30 plus. That's important in this, again, because when you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars and what they did in 2017, they were number 1 in rushing attempts, number 1 in rushing yards, running it over 30 times a game. Now, the last time the Jets had success in the NFL was when it was 2009 and 2010. Great defense, great offensive line. They ran the ball like crazy. They ran it 38 times per game in 2009. That is not happening in the modern NFL. That is just an astronomical number. 38 times per game is nuts. That's a little overkill. But 2010, a little bit more realistic of an ask, 33 times per game. That, again, I think a little bit over 30 is the number. 38 is just insane. I don't think you could replicate that now. What is that, 14 years ago? But the last 2 years, the Jets in rushing attempts ranked towards the bottom. They were 27th in the NFL last year, running the ball on average 24 times per game. And in 2021, they were also 27th, running the ball on average 22 times per game. That's too low of a number. Both of those are too low of a number, going back to Zach Wilson as the quarterback. Now, also in those games, there was Mike White starts mixed in, Joe Flacco starts mixed in, Josh Johnson starts mixed in, or playing time, not necessarily starts, but you know the drill. 24 or 22 times is not enough. The Jets need to be running the ball 30 times a game. And that's why you bring in, I guess, a Dalvin Cook, because Breece Hall was fantastic. He ran the ball 12 times in the game against Buffalo and was well over 100 yards. He went over 100 yards on his first 2 carries. I don't want to run him into the ground right away. I love Breece Hall. And again, I want to continue to give him more as the weeks go on and as he progresses, but you do not want to run him into the ground right away. So that means you have to get Dalvin Cook involved, and he ran 13 times, was averaging 2.5 yards a carry. So hopefully that goes away, because that's not sustainable. If he's giving you less than 3 yards a carry, that ain't good. But Michael Carter was used very sparingly. And you may want to consider activating Izzy Abanikanda. I know maybe it's crazy to carry 4 active running backs, but with the number of times the Jets are going to run the football, which again, I think in order to have success, it's got to be 30 plus times a game, they might need all 4 running backs to be active. That would be a tough decision on who you're making inactive and what the play is or what the plan is at that point. But it would keep all those guys fresh if you're rotating them through. And again, I would imagine that Breece and Dalvin, they were close to 50-50 split in week 1. As the weeks go on, expect Breece Hall to get more carries, but those two with the majority, Michael Carter and Izzy, though, should still be utilized. And Also, the running back should be utilized in the screen game, getting them the ball in space. There was a nice one to Breece Hall in that game on Monday night. Dalvin Cook's shown the ability to catch passes. Michael Carter has shown the ability in the NFL to catch passes. And while Izzy Abanikanda didn't really do that a ton at college, he is so speedy. I think if you just get him the ball in his hands and get him in space, that'd be good and that'd be efficient. And the Jets have to manufacture touches for their playmakers. Garrett Wilson cannot be having 35 yards of receiving. And that, I know I'm talking about, running the ball more, but you have to kind of force feed him in a sense. Scheme up touches, easy completions, easy screens, whatever it is, to Xavier Gipson and Mecole Hardman. Those are two guys who are extremely explosive players and can do damage with the ball in their hand. You have to get a little bit creative, and Nathaniel Hackett has his work cut out for him. Again, you have to get a little bit more creative, but you build the passing attack off the run game. So you're running a lot of play action. Hopefully more RPO. I like when Zach Wilson runs out of the RPO. I think that's stylistically his fit in the NFL is running that. You just have to get and scheme him easy completions because this year, at least in training camp, his mechanics are a little bit better. He has panicked a lot less. There were still moments. He was still running 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That happened once. He had a bad interception once. It wasn't happening as frequently as we saw last year, which I guess is a plus. But you have to keep it very simple, kind of like what the San Francisco 49ers are doing with Brock Purdy. They are not asking him to do anything crazy out there, but he is executing the offense well. The Jets need to run the ball. They need to be at least top 5 in rushing attempts this year, and they need to give Zach Wilson easy completions, get the ball to his playmakers. That is how you have success on offense. Is it a perfect recipe? No, it's not a perfect recipe. Having Aaron Rodgers would have been a perfect recipe, but that's not the case. You're pivoting. Zach Wilson's the quarterback for now, again. And we'll see if they make a veteran addition, but this is the way that you can have success on offense with Zach Wilson. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.